Okay, so now we're into this example about um, how to add, at the very least, um, 33 base 4 and 13 base 4. And the first technique I'm trying to show you is, or trying to explain, is how we convert on the fly. And that's my title of it. It's not in the textbook. But what it means is that as soon as you start adding the first column, um, in step one, which is like we normally do in base 10. 3 plus 3 is 6, but you can't write down 6 as your answer because the answer that you just got is in base 10. So you have to immediately convert that 6 into its equivalent base 4 numeral. And so if you're having trouble converting from base 10 numerals to other bases, this is where the difficulty is coming in about doing addition, subtraction, and multiplication, because now you got to do two things. You got to remember how to add, subtract, and now you got to do this conversion process. So step 2 says 6 is not within the available digits of base 4. And if you don't remember what that means, is that let's look back here. The available digits for base 4 is 0, 1, 2, and 3. That's it. There's no 6 per se. There's no, a digit that represents 6. The only way we can represent 6 is saying that it's 12. That is 12. Base 4. So it 6 in base 10 becomes a 2-digit numeral in base 4 because I'm limiting the number of digits I can use for counting and doing whatever to only 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. After that, I got to jump to 10. Just, okay. So now, as soon as I get the division done, I figured out that 6 is equal to 12 base 4. I can now write down the 2, just like I would in how I would adding vertically. Write down 2, carry the 1 over, and go ahead and add 1 plus 3 plus 1, which gives me 5 base 10. I got to convert that back to base 4, which is 11. So my entire answer is 112 base 4. So you're converting on the fly. Whenever you run, whenever you get over, the available numerals or digits in whatever, case, you got to convert it you have to convert it into the base that you're working in. So like say for instance, suppose that the answer for this ended up being like 11 base 10. That means you have to immediately convert that 11 into something base 4. Okay. The other technique is go ahead and convert both of the numbers into base 10 and then convert it back. Okay. Again, this requires you understanding how to convert from other base into base 10 and then going back. Well, converting from an other base to base 10 is, I think most of you pretty got. You expand it. You can see the base, you see what number you need, and you have to understand like, oh, okay, whatever's in the tens position means, the 4s to the second power or whatever. So this, the second position lets you know what exponent. You kind of get y'all are kind of getting that association. So ends up being I got 12 plus 3 equals 15. To change 13 base 4 into something base 10 is 7. So 15 plus 7 is 22. Now I go back down and change it back into base 4. I need to find out what 22 equals into base 4, and I go through the whole division process. And as I stated before, you want to find the highest exponent of base 4 that will allow you to start the division process. I say obviously, 4 to the third power is too big because 4 to the third power gives you 64. 64 is too big to start dividing. But 4 squared, which equals 16, allows you, is small enough or big enough to start dividing. And once you do, okay, 16 goes into the 22 one time with a remainder of 6. Now you take that 6 and divide it by the next lowest exponent of 4, which is 4 to the first. You get what goes in one time, remainder of 2. 2 divided by, now the reason why we have 1 again, remember, we're getting lazy and saying like, okay, I don't want to put down 4 to the 0, because if I put down 4 to the 0, 4 to the 0 actually equals 1, just like I did 4 to the first. 4 to the first actually equals 4. 4 to the second actually equals 16. So I'm taking the actual numbers that, once you evaluate the exponent for what they're for. And so the quotients, the numbers in red, guess what? 1, 1, 2, base 4. So those are the only two ways you can actually start adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Okay. And again, on the test, you'll have a table for multiplication for the division problem to help you out. And again, the tables that I've shown you, this table here for example, for base 4, it only, I only did for the first 4 digits. If I came down to did 10, 11, 12, whatever, I could keep on going, but I'm just showing how, it starts to add up. And when you start adding, or any of the operations, you're initially doing it in base 10, but then you got to hurry up and convert it into whatever base that you're working in. So again, 3 plus 0 is 3 here in base 4, but as soon as I add 3 plus 1, I get 4 immediately, but that 4 is in base 10. I have to immediately see what 4 is and what 4 is in base 4, and 4 in base 4 is actually 10. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So hopefully this is the second part, and hopefully this will make some sense. And if not, again, on the final, it's only about not even 4 questions. Like, I know there's 1 division and maybe 1 converting, and everything else is the numerals from the other cultures and stuff. So do not stress yourself out about this right now.